Hey guys, Slimber here, and if you've been watching my channel for a minute, you may have seen a video I did about 2 years ago on the Young Turks, in which I criticized them for having a host on that, well, was clearly fucking brain dead. Yeah, I'll post the video in the description. He doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about in the video he's responding to for TYT. But I would like to go into what topic? Whatever the fuck. I would like to talk about what's going on with TYT right now, the Young Turks, because they have recently basically endorsed McCarthyism, and they've kind of gone full imperialist at this point. And they've been going at it with Jimmy Dore, and even though Jimmy Dore worked there for a long time, and Anna Kasparian has a fucking top position in the Young Turks. She has, after a couple of years of him being gone, and when out of spite, basically, released some DMs or whatever about him, or released her saying some shit. We're just gonna go in the video in their response to him.
Unfortunately, Jimmy Dore used to work here. It's a decision I deeply regret. We try to expand the spectrum of what is acceptable thought, and so corporate media has it easy. They just have to ask, do you believe in the status quo? And people answer that, not explicitly, but implicitly through their answers, and then they get hired that way. We hire a wider range of folks, and sometimes it goes wrong, and Jimmy's one of those examples. So, and I found out recently about an incident that happened while he was working here. And now the person that's talking about it is Jimmy. So he has been attacking us online over and over again with nothing but lies and smears, some of which I'm going to show you right now. But we still held back, and of course it's frustrating. He was a friend, or at least I thought he was, to me and to a lot of people here. And we've been a little shell-shocked by not the disagreements. Who cares? We had disagreements when he was here. That's not an issue at all. But by honestly the lies and the smears and the attacks that were deeply personal in nature. So both Anna and I got frustrated, and at one point she sent him a DM that Jimmy's gonna talk about in this clip that we're gonna show you. And it was basically saying, look, we know all these things about you that we haven't shared before, in a way of saying, we are holding back while you're going nuts.
Yeah.
In a way you were trying to blackmail him? Yes, very progressive, guys. The Young Turks, using the Me Too movement, using somebody's suffering as a way to blackmail another person. Yes, very progressive of the Young Turks. Like, look, do I at all support what Jimmy Dore did? No, not by any fucking margin. But to use that as a response to criticism, to the fact that you guys have lost all your integrity since Jeffrey Katzenberg bought you out, the fact that you guys have been supporting imperialism lately, the fact that you guys have been supporting McCarthyism lately, the fact that you guys endorsed Elizabeth Warren, a faux progressive, in 2020. That's fucking shitty, dude. That takes away shit from real fucking victims.
Right? And so, do you have no humanity or decency? And then you're about to find out the answer to that, because this is what he said on air. But before we get to that,
Jank, I would sit this one out, because first of all, you've made pretty similar comments on air.
Does that mean that she was fired, Anna?
She was fired.
Is that
Definitely.
because no one really chooses to end a relationship with a network where they're paying you a lot of money? Right?
Exactly.
Right. Oh, damn. I never saw that picture of her before. How you doing? We got a slot open at the Young Turks.
Oh God.
I'm just playing, Anna. We don't
Yeah,
have it.
not while I'm here.
Okay.
Whatever.
You know what? Look, I gotta call it like it is, right? One of the reasons she got big is she has big tits.
Second of all, you don't really, like I already just said though, you don't have the greatest track record when it comes to this. Didn't you literally say women have flawed genetics and shit like that? Sure, that was 20 years ago, but if you're gonna bring up the past, I mean, you know, if that's relevant, then that's obviously relevant.
Yeah.
Sam.
So I want to be
I want to be clear about something. So the DM that I sent him specifically called him out on his constant sexual harassment of me at this place, at TYT. I also want to be clear that I didn't talk about it with anyone. I never talked about it with Jank until very recently, because for obvious reasons. And so I sent him that DM because the harassment has continued. It's not sexual harassment, it's been constant harassment online.
Anna, it's not harassment, it's criticism. Like, don't get me wrong. I kind of quit watching his show earlier this year because it was kind of getting annoying that every episode had to do with the fucking Young Turks for a minute. But his criticisms were pretty fucking valid. And you guys clearly show them more and more as time goes on. There's a reason why Dave Rubin came out of there a conservative. Because all of you guys are fucking frauds, including Dave Rubin. But obviously the sexual harassment, that's fucked up. I don't support that, obviously.
That wouldn't go away. Doesn't matter if I ignore him, which some of my friends, my leftist friends, have told me, just ignore him, it'll go away.
I'm gonna be 100% honest, Anna. I don't think you have any leftist friends anymore. Oh, maybe Kyle Kalinske. Maybe that's the exception. But Kyle Kalinske said some similar shit on Twitter, and you fucking laughed it off. So clearly you aren't affected by that shit. But Kyle Kalinske is probably the closest to a leftist friend you have. I don't know why he hasn't ditched you, but I know he's kind of distanced himself from you and Jank a little bit, it seems like. But you've become a fucking neoliberal shill. And Ryan Grimm isn't a fucking leftist. He's a neoliberal shill. You don't have any leftist friends besides maybe Kyle Kalinske. Any fucking true leftist knows that you guys are all just like Dave Rubin, just trying to get that fucking money from people like Jeffrey Katzenberg that you've already gotten, and you will say anything for it. You are no different than corporate media at this point.
Just ignore him, ignore him. Kept going and going and going, directing trolls at me nonstop. And finally I couldn't take it anymore. So I sent him that message saying, you remember what you did to me.
Yeah.
And I can't stand that he positions himself as this moral fighter for progressive values.
Then you be that moral fighter, Anna. This whole, political shit started over the force to vote thing. Because leftists like myself, Jimmy Dore, Paul's Ego, a lot of fucking leftists said, hey, let's get people like AOC, fucking Ilhan Omar, other, more left-wing Cory Bush, left-wing Democrats to withhold their vote for Pelosi for speaker because Kevin McCarthy wouldn't have won anyways, but to withhold their vote so that we can get a Medicare for all vote on the floor so that even if it loses, we can campaign on, hey, they just killed a Medicare for all bill in a fucking pandemic. And you and Jank both opposed it. And here's the thing, right? I do know some people that I think genuinely opposed it. People like TJ Kirk opposed it. But here's the thing. You're receiving money from billionaires like Jeffrey Katzenberg. I know why you oppose it. You've become more neoliberal as the fucking, years have gone on.
When he and I both know the kind of behavior he engaged in when he was working here. So I wanted to give you that context.
So by the way, why didn't Anna tell me? Because I would have fired him. And no good deed goes unpunished. So she didn't tell me, he kept working here. And next thing you know, he's about to tell you a story of what happened. Now, ironically, there's lies in here too, but let us show you who Jimmy Dore actually is. Here, let's begin.
But here's how she's trying to threaten me. And I'll tell you why this is a big mistake on her part. She says, I'm sure you remember when you constantly made inappropriate comments about how sexy you found me at work and even felt the need to ask me where I shop for my jeans so you can buy a pair for your wife so she dresses better.
Thank you.
That was followed by an apology card you wrote me for the degrading harassment I've been holding back, letting you run your mouth nonstop as if you're some sort of warrior for what's good in the world. That's going to change.
That's all he said? That's literally all he said? I mean, he shouldn't have said it, but Cenk has said worse on TV. I mean, in fact, they went as far to show celebrity fucking camel toes. You don't think that's sexual harassment? Or, so-and-so, do they have talent, or do they just have big tits? You don't think that's sexual harassment? I mean, this is nothing compared to some of the shit TYT's done.
So now she's, instead of saying I'm paid by the Russians or saying I'm working for Assad, she's now going to try to pretend I sexually harassed her when I was at the Young Turks.
Now, I give you that as a lead into what he's about, the story he's about to tell you, okay? So he claims and laughs about how Anna was pretending that he was sexually harassing her. Then we don't have to say anything else. Let Jimmy tell you what he thinks happened.
I also want to give a warning before they show this. I don't know 100% as I can't find the original video. It might be paid content. I'm really not trying to spend money on Jimmy Dore's show to be 100% real. Nothing against the guy. You know, I just don't really, not that interested that I want to pay for it. But apparently there's context cut out, so I've heard, but there might not be, so... You know, take this with a grain of salt. Context might have been cut out by the Young Turks, so they might have pulled a Mr. Dapperton.
I'll tell you this story. The story about that was followed by an apology card you wrote me for degrading harassment. Anna Kasparian used to dress, when I worked there, unbelievably inappropriately for a newsroom. She looked like she was going to a rave. The skirt, one time she came into the newsroom with a skirt so short. It wasn't a pencil skirt. It was like a fluffy one too, but so short that she bent over in front of me and I literally saw her ass and her thong. She's wearing a thong. I literally saw it. Everybody saw it. And I go, hey, Anna, nice news skirt. And everybody laughed. Like they laughed louder than I thought they would. And so it humiliated her. She got humiliated in the middle of the newsroom. And I did it. And I felt bad. At that time, we were friendly. And I was just busting her balls, right? For dressing like that in a newsroom. You're going to bend over and show me your ass? I think that's a little, I'm not offended, but I think that's a little risque. Imagine if I did that. If I walked around showing my ass to everybody. So when I did that, so she got really mad. She got humiliated. Her face turned red. She tried to insult me back, and it just fell flat. And she looked, bad. And I felt bad for her. I didn't fight. I didn't want to make her feel that, but I just wanted to make a little joke. And all I said was, "Hey, Anna, nice news skirt," and everybody in the newsroom, because everybody saw how inappropriate she dresses. She used to dress. And everybody saw it. And so that's why it got such a huge laugh, and she was so humiliated.
So he just tells a story like, haha, I humiliated her then, and now I'm going to tell you a story of how funny it was.
I mean, he's joking about it, but he is kind of admitting fault, and he's more than likely, it seems like he's admitting to being in the wrong. I mean, he said he felt bad about it, it sounds like. Or he might have directly said it. I'll have to rewatch the clip. But, I mean, if anything, don't wear a thong at work that people can see. I mean, why is that? I'm not trying to, victim blame, but that's kind of a weird thing to wear to work.
And I felt bad for her. I didn't fight. I didn't want to make her feel that, but I just wanted to make a little joke.
That I tried to humiliate her. Now, since it's Jimmy, half the story's not true, of course. But assume it is. That's your big hero right there that does that to women.
Once again, Cenk, your track record is not good for you to be saying this shit. Because you're definitely no big fucking hero. You've definitely done worse than that, Jank. You've said much worse and you've done much worse, Jank. So I wouldn't be going around saying that.
Looks up their skirt and then laughs at them and then pretends it's their fault that he's looking up their skirt?
I mean, Jank, from the story you even show, it doesn't sound like he intentionally looked up her fucking skirt. It sounds like she fucking made it so he could see it. So everybody in the fucking room could see it. Why? Like, why are you trying to present this narrative that obviously isn't true? I mean, look, honestly, part of the reason I got out of watching the Young Turks, even before I went more left, was because I realized they were full of shit. Like, they were making up shit during the Kavanaugh trial about, like, new fucking evidence and stuff that wasn't true. And I realized they were hypocritical. Like, when they were defending a white woman, Rosie O'Donnell, not Rosie O'Donnell, fucking Roseanne Barr, fucking retarded, over her racist comments because she had a mental illness, but Kanye couldn't be defended because he had a mental illness.
Now, parts of the story that aren't true. Of course, Anna wasn't wearing a skirt that short. Of course, nobody else saw. That pervert was trying to desperately look. That's why he made apparently several comments about her body before. And by the way, who was in the room? Anna was teaching at the time, and she had brought in her students, her college students here. No, they did not laugh out loud.
I mean, I'm gonna be 100% honest. I would rather see a witness from either you or Jimmy that backs up one of your fucking stories. Because to be 100% honest, Jimmy's kind of fucking insane. I think he might be like a little schizo or something. But you also lie. So yeah, I don't know which one of you are telling the truth.
Yeah.
Jimmy, in his own mind, thinks it's hilarious to be a pervert sexual harasser like that, and thinks, oh, all the kids will love that. It'll be such a funny joke as I try to humiliate their professor in front of them.
Yeah. So the reason why he wrote the apology card was because every time he had made inappropriate comments about me at work, I ignored it. You know, but as I was walking into the studio, because my students were supposed to watch the show, it was their final assignment, watch the show, and there was a written assignment related to the show. And as I was walking in with them, that was when he made the comment, and he didn't make a comment about a news skirt. He made a comment about how sexy my legs were in front of my students. And it was degrading, obviously, and I want my students to respect me and take me seriously. Seeing an older man that I work with talk about my body like that in front of my students was wrong. And so for the first time, I actually snapped at him and told him to never make a comment like that about me again.
So to continue with this, well, not even continue, to kind of end this video because it's almost 18 minutes long. You've heard Jimmy Dore's side, you've heard Anna Kasparian's side. Both have not had witnesses to back up what they've said, at least not that I've seen so far. I mean, to be 100% honest, they both could be full of shit. You know, something completely different could have happened. But to be 100% real, with the time Anna is bringing it up, with, you know, the timing of her bringing it up, I kind of don't believe her because it seems like she's using it out of spite, which, by the way, hurts the credibility of actual victims because, you know, it continues that stigma that some might be using it out of spite. So anyways, what do you guys think? Leave a dislike, leave a fucking comment saying I'm a misogynist piece of shit. And yeah, Slimber out.